Hey everyone, Dark here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to farm Genesis mission points without an overpowered Giga. Yes, I'm sure if you are experienced in the game, you know that those strong Gigas can be useful in farming the Genesis mission points. Easy peasy. You just go into any of the alpha missions and you can pretty much do it. Get 30,000 points per pop, and it is extremely easy. But having one of those overpowered Gigas is not easy. If you're a solo player, if you're newer to the game, or if you're experienced but you're just starting out on the server you're on and you don't have a strong Giga, it's kind of difficult to get one. You've got to get basically a cryopod because you're not going to go through a year of breeding to get that strong of a Giga. So you got to get lucky from getting it from another tribe by raiding them, or you do what I do. So I'm going to show you guys how to farm the mission points without needing a strong Giga like that, and you'll get a lot of points very quickly. You'll get about 10,000 points per run. So let me go ahead and show you guys the creature we are going to use. Check this out. You guys are going to be like, what? Sweet. A Therizinosaur. These guys, and I'm sure you know these guys are strong, but these guys are also very tameable, and they're strong at their basic, wild level tame. So I tamed this guy at 135. That was the wild level tame, or the wild level when I tamed it. Came out at 202. I have not leveled him up yet at all, and I went ahead because I'm in single player. I bumped up its experience points to 8,000 just to kind of mimic what would happen if you left it in a cryopod overnight. Because if you leave any tame in a cryopod overnight and then you throw it out on the same server, it gets a whole bunch of experience points, about 40 levels. So this should be relative to, comparable to that. So let's go ahead and level this guy up and we'll see how strong he is. The first thing I would suggest for the mission we're going to do is level up weight just a little bit. I would say to about there. The reason being is Therizinosaurs are great farmers, and you will farm stuff while you're doing the mission potentially, and you don't want to be encumbered too quickly. The next thing you want to level is melee. You want that melee all the way up, as high as it'll go. There we go. That's 815 melee damage on a wild tamed Therizinosaur. This wasn't even a 150, it was a 135, guys. And Therizinosaurs, they're not easy to tame by any means, but they're a lot easier than Gigas. So all you got to do is trap them, knock them out, tame them with some berries or kibble or typical herbivore type tames. You can check the Dodo decks for the exact values, but I can guarantee you they're a lot easier than Gigas. Anyways, the mission we are going to do is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Essentially, we're going to guide a frog through the bog. I'm sure most of you, if you're experienced, have done this mission. If you haven't, that's great. You'll see how it works. This mission is a common mission that you do on alpha with a strong Giga. You can't do the alpha with pretty much any other creature that isn't extremely strong. So, for example, even if you had a regular Giga, if you had a wild tamed Giga, you wouldn't be able to do it consistently. You're gonna have the frog die to a variety of things, because the problem isn't necessarily surviving the waves of attacks, it's killing the waves fast enough so that they don't kill the frog you're protecting. Okay, so that's kind of the key there. You have to make sure that you're keeping the frog alive. And if your Giga isn't strong enough, which if it's a wild tamed it probably won't be, you won't be able to do the alpha, and that's just what it is. But the Therizinosaur, wild tamed, can do the beta, and so can the Gigas. The wild tamed Gigas can do the beta mission instead of the alpha, but they're just harder to tame. Therizinosaurs are a lot easier to tame than Gigas. They're a lot more plausible to get for a solo player or an inexperienced player or somebody that's not as well off in the game. So let's go ahead and do the mission now. You want to make sure nothing's around that's gonna sneak up on you. Okay. We did the beta mission. There we go. And now we're just going to follow and protect this frog the whole way. And by the way, guys, while this is loading up, if you are new to this channel, this is the first video you've seen, or maybe if it's the second, third, or fourth, if you enjoy it, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help me out. And plus, you get notified of any videos that I do upload, so that way you stay up to date with the content. I also stream weekly, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And last but not least, if you enjoy the video, please smash that like button. It really does help me out. And leave me a comment. Alright, so as you can see, essentially we're just going to be guiding this frog to its, I think it's babies? Babies and it's a girlfriend frog. So, but we're pretty much just going to try to protect it. You get snakes, you get terror birds, you get raptors, berries, the whole 9 yards come running at you to kill it. And as you can see, they really don't attack you. At least they don't try to attack you. But they probably won't, regardless of what decent tame you're on. If you're on a Giga, I'm gonna try not to talk while I'm attacking them all because it gets a little loud. Alright. Regardless of what tame you're on, you know, they're not gonna kill you, most likely, but they will kill the frog. So you see how they've already done about 400 damage to this frog. You know, if I was on alpha, that would be multiplied by like 2 or 3. They'd already have it down pretty far. In order to successfully complete the alpha mission, you pretty much have to kill everything before they can even attack the frog. Which is, it's just not easy to do unless you're killing everything in, you know, 1, 2, or 3 hits, which you won't do with a wild tame. You're gonna need a well-bred tame. Specifically a really good Giga. So, so yeah, that's why it's difficult to farm a ton of mission points unless you have a strong Giga. But, as I'm showing you guys here, the beta mission is very doable, and you get a lot of points for the beta mission. I mean, you don't need to get... Sorry, let's go ahead and kill these guys. Pretty much just want to constantly be attacking. 10,000 points is a decent amount of points for a solo player or a player that's not at the point where they have strong Gigas. If you're at the point where you have a really strong Giga, then yeah, 30,000 points is probably super useful and necessary. But if you're not at the point yet where you don't have a super strong Giga, or you don't have all those, you know, tames in your inventory or at your base, you know, 10,000 points should be plenty enough to get started. A lot of the, like, if you've watched any YouTube videos on how to get started, you know, how to get a quick start on everything, you know, you want to get about 10,000 points. And I've seen some of these tutorial videos where it's like, yeah, if you do this mission 5 or 6 times, you get your 10,000 points and blah, 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 right? You get 10,000 points in one run with this. And you do it 2, 3, 4, however many times, you can have a lot of points pretty quickly. And you'll see, too, it's only going to take like 7 or 8 minutes to actually do the whole mission. And you can do it consistently, no problems. You know, there's not going to be like you only do it 50% of the time. You will do it every time. And then it's simple too. Some of the other missions you'll see, you have to like track things and you follow the footprints. Those missions, do not like those. Those are like difficult to see the actual footprints sometimes. And it's just a pain in the butt. This one, like, it's so easy because you follow the frog. Now there are some other missions you can do the exact same way. There's one on the Arctic biome. I think there's one on... I don't remember if it's all the biomes or just a few of them. I don't really remember. But the main 2 ones that people do are Arctic and this one. I like this one because there's typically less people. And it's also not freezing. But that's not to say that, you know, the Arctic one isn't bad. And you can do the Arctic one on beta, same thing, with the Therizinosaur. And seriously, Therizinosaurs are overpowered. They are OP. These guys are so good because, I mean, not only can you use them for things like this, you know, and just general damage, but you can also use them for farming. They farm fiber super quickly. They farm wood super quickly, thatch. They farm all of it. They can farm hide and meat. Now, while you're doing this mission, make sure you keep an eye on your weight so you drop everything. Don't put anything important in your Therizinosaur's inventory because you want to be able to quickly hit that drop all. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on the weight and doing that. The last thing you want is for your frog to start moving along and then you can't move because you're encumbered, and then it gets a whole bunch of damage before you can actually catch up. And it helps to kind of get just slightly in front to try to block some of the damage to it. Because as you can see, I mean, we're already less than half health on the frog. So, I mean, it's not like... I lost track of it there for a sec. It's not like this is a walk in the park type mission. You still do have to put in a little bit of effort to make sure you're not, you know... make sure you're actually completing it. It's not like you can just start it and you're going to complete it. You have to make sure you're protecting the frog. But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this 99% of the time. There we go. Now, if I remember correct, we are almost to the end here. Also, guys, you'll level up pretty fast doing this mission. If you ever wanted a way to do some leveling, do this mission, level up, and get points all at the same time. When I was on Small Tribes, I started doing this mission at 103, and I did it probably like... I mean, I did it, you know, randomly throughout the course of different stuff on Small Tribes. But I probably... I don't know how many times I did it, but I got to level 105 just by doing this. I didn't go do any other level up tasks. Like, I didn't go do the swamp cave or anything like that. I just was doing this mission pretty regularly, and I leveled all the way up to 105 with this as my main source of experience. So, you get a lot from it. Alright, and now this is the end. The time remaining says 7.5 minutes, which means this took us about 7.5 minutes because there's 15 minutes to start. That's not bad. We're going to get 10,000 points out of this, and then we also, because this is a Genesis mission, we get a whole lot of loot. One of which is comp bows. So these two comp bows are not actually that great, but you can get some pretty good combos. I've got ones that are in the 160 and 170 damage. You also get these frog saddles. You can drop a lot of this stuff. I like challies, but don't need that. Equus saddle, we got a gas mask, we got an iguanodon saddle, we got a rifle. That was a random one. So essentially, when you do the loot on these things, there's certain items that you will almost always get for that mission, and then there's a whole list of all the items for all the missions that you usually get one, two, or three items from for any of the missions. Which the rifle is definitely one of those. We got a quet saddle, sweet. Got a whole bunch of stuff here.